It's the first campervan adventure in a very long time. So, it's also the first campervan adventure that we've had with my daughter. So, Isla is now 13 months old, and we figured this was a good time to be able to do our first campervan trip with her. Hasn't quite been exactly what we planned. Initially, we had planned to do the North Coast 500. We were meant to move house in March, and unfortunately, that got pushed back to May, which then meant the time that we'd need to actually plan it became a little bit more tricky. So we decided to do a slightly different campervan adventure. We've come up to the Speyside for 4 days, and then we're going to go over to the West Coast, up to sort of Ullapool area for another 4 days. And yeah, so far it's been fantastic. So we had a cunning plan for being able to sort her out. So we left just after her bath time. She had her bottle in the van, and the plan was that she'd fall asleep on the way up, which mostly worked until we stopped at services, and then she woke up and refused to go back to sleep for the rest of the journey. We stayed somewhere really interesting actually for our first night. We stayed at T-Bay Services, which is not something I thought I'd ever say. There is a campsite there. As far as I'm aware, it's the only services in the UK with an official campsite. And I have to say, for something that's only a couple hundred yards away from the M6, it was incredibly quiet. Very simple, very straightforward. You pull up, you pick your pitch, and you go and pay in the petrol station. It's available to get there any time of the night. They had services, power, everything. It's great. Really worked well. Then we carried on up, came up through Stirling, went to Unorthodox Roasters in Stirling. I use Dog and Hat for my coffee subscription. They send you 3 bags, I think 2, 3 or 4 bags every month for coffee. And yeah, a while ago, Unorthodox Roasters came up, and they were one of my favourite roasters that I've had through that. So I thought I had to go and pay them a visit, and got fantastic coffee and fantastic lunch there. And then we continued up to Speyside. And it's my wife's first time in Speyside, so it's fantastic. We got a great afternoon for driving through the Spey Valley. It was just beautiful, absolutely stunning. And we're staying at the Speyside Gardens Caravan Park, which is very straightforward, simple, exactly where we like it. Has everything on site that you could want. Has a really nice shop. They do good coffee, lots of lovely beers, wines, whiskies. Yeah, it's good. We've got a couple of new additions to the van. We now have an awning of sorts. So both of the additions are from Stitches and Steel. So yeah, Stitches and Steel, worth checking out. They do some very nicely basic. When I say basic, I don't mean crap. I mean simple. They do very simple campervan accessories. And this awning is essentially just a tarpaulin with poles that creates an outdoor space. So it's given us exactly what we needed. When it's been raining, it's given us an outdoor area. When it's been sunny, it's given us a shaded spot to put Isla in. And you can get it with no poles, 2 poles, 4 poles. We got the 4-pole set, and it's been fantastic. We've been able to leave it up and drive away. We don't have a C channel on the side of our van yet. I think that will come. But that means you can thread it in to really get a complete seal. The way I had it set up the first night, I tied it to the van, which worked, but then when it rained, it created a large puddle on top. So we decided to leave it slightly more freestanding, but it's worked brilliantly. The other thing we've got is a place for Isla to sleep, because that is the challenge with a van. Where do you put a 1-year-old in a van? So we got their hammock. I said hammock to my mother. She imagined some sort of suspended thing strung between the poles. but it's essentially just a channel. Creates a walled off area in the front seat that Isla can sleep in. She can't get out, she can't fall down the footwell. It's got a padded bottom, as has she most of the time. But yeah, it's been brilliant. So we got to Speyside Gardens and set up. Then what did we do? So we got here on Tuesday. On Wednesday, had a really lovely walk into Aberlour, which is the nearest village. Went to see the Aberlour Distillery, had a look around, beautiful place. That was wonderful. Then we went up to Craigellachie to the hotel, had dinner, again walked alongside the Spey, beautiful, beautiful evening. Then next day the weather wasn't quite so friendly. Started off okay and got worse. We decided on Thursday to go to Aviemore. So went to Aviemore, went up to the Cairngorm Ski Centre. Isla slept in the back for her nap then, which was very nice and very calm. It's lovely that we can do that. But sadly, it was a bit wet and a bit miserable, so we didn't really feel like exploring too much there. Then went down to Rothiemurchus and Loch An Eilean. I think that's how you pronounce it. Had a lovely walk. And there's an ancient island castle on the loch, which was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The one limiting factor with a one-year-old does mean you can do less with your days, but actually it focuses the mind in terms of what you want to do. So we've kind of been doing one interesting thing a day.